Okay, welcome to Stone Soup Poetry, everyone. Next week, Stone Soup goes live on October 12th with Carla Schwartz, poet, author, photographer, filmmaker. She's worn many hats in her decades in the Boston poetry scene. She's performed at Stone Soup. She's performed at the Lizard Lounge. She's performed at the Cantab. She's performing at Stone Soup for the second time since I've taken over. It's been a long time getting her back, but I'm glad that the stars align and she's going to be back in from her New Hampshire place to hang out in Boston in the Seaport area with us on Wednesday the 12th. You're all encouraged to be there live if you can, and I'm going to be spreading the word, and hopefully we'll get some. She lives on an electric houseboat. I think that might actually be right, but I think
No, it is. She had a whole book of whole book and picture
right.
presentation.
I forgot. Yes, I forgot about the picture presentation. I wonder if that's going to be cleared there too. So I'm going to be calling the 4 Point Arts people. We'll see if we can get it as a online component as well. I'm going to talk to them and we'll do our best. But if you guys can make it live, I hope you do so. Tonight's an all open mic with more announcements coming for the rest of October and hopefully something special for the election week. It's hard to find a double feature to be like, hey, we did okay in the elections, or boo, we really sucked at this. Like we have to figure out a good post election person, and of course a good pre-election person. I got some good selections coming up. Hopefully they'll be finalized. I thank you all for your patience. Things are kicking off, and we're going to kick off the open mic right now with thanks to the Ramnator 5000. Our first choice is hopefully he'll unmute himself right away. Chris Fitzgerald. There you go.
All right, I had a cracker in my mouth when you called my name. I can't spit it out.
Get out of the Cracker Aisle, Stop and Shop, Chris.
This is the second part. This is the second part of that Sloopy piece I did in April on National Poetry Month. First off, I love Hang On Sloopy, though it doesn't share my big city sensibility. There's a small town, give a shit about everybody's opinion. It can sound like the singer is doing her a favor by paying attention to her. When I was 17, 21, 25, the only one's opinion to try and kiss the girl or young woman in front of me that I cared about was my own. I did not care if her socks matched, or her shoes for that matter. E. Cummins of Cambridge, Massachusetts has a great big city sentiment in this stanza. Lovers come, lovers go, a wandering, but any two are perfectly alone. There's nobody else alive. Tell me you can't smell Central Square or Harvard Square in those lines. I even get a little whiff of Porter. Porter Square means you're very sensitive, and by being so sensitive, you should yourself maybe sit down and write a poem. And if you're not linguistically inclined, you should sit down and sketch not a picture of your favorite grandmother, which even the most insensitive can do, but a picture of your second favorite grandmother. That's the toughie, as Da Vinci himself once said. I did this for a place in Dorchester once because it was set in Dorchester in the 60s, where Channel 56 was. I remember the first time I was approached to get involved with the movies. They had heard about the disastrous time I had with the none too silent co-conspirator, television. Bozo the Clown Show. Bozo, always laughs, never cries. Yeah, that Bozo. Channel 5, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 10 times I had sent in and received tickets, but I was a no-show. This time my mother took my younger sister, my younger brother, and me. Boy, was I happy. Show's on. Bozo is sitting, the first commercial break, Bozo is sitting directly across from me. Looks me in the eye, and in an accusatory tone says, "Weren't you on last week?" I was livid. In my Boston swagger, I said, "What are you, a friggin' clown?" Then I realized he was a friggin' clown, the friggin' clown. Always laughs, never cries, my ass. That wasn't the way a 37-year-old man should speak to an 11-year-old boy. The tone should always be welcoming, not accusatory, be it parent, teacher, or friggin' bozo in a TV studio. There was no more trouble after that. 40 years later, I hear from the movie people. They think that I just might be an interesting poet to make a movie about. I write my nouns and verbs in blue pen. I write my adverbs and adjectives in red pen. Also, according to the Guinness people, I'm the first poet to utilize 6 adverbs in the first 2 stanzas of a poem. Browning had 5. Tennyson said he had 7, but he got drunk that night, lost that poem, and he died without being able to remember that work. Another example of bad whiskey breaking up a happy poem. They will also wear my print and sell my first chapbook. I sold them for $10, $20 if you had the coupon, $30 if you told me you didn't have the coupon, but I thought you did have the coupon and were lying to me just to save a couple bucks. In those days, unlike today, financial transactions were not always on the up and up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. And thanks to everyone still coming on. We got a couple more people I think are going to join us in the next few minutes. Looking forward to that. And up next, we have the man known as Magister Galt, Ed Galt himself. Check out his work forthcoming in Oddball Magazine, at least photography-wise, poetry book-wise. Well, we're chomping at the bit, waiting for it to come out. Take it away, Ed.
Thank you. This one is called Funeral, where I kind of take a morbid look at what my funeral might be like years from now. Anyway, this is Funeral. I sometimes imagine what my funeral will be like. People will stand around my coffin. Of course, it will be raining. It always is in these scenes. Oh, dreary day. People will be standing around drinking scotch and reaching for potato salad. They will be talking about what a spectacular career I could have had if only I had not been a poet. And the corpse looks terribly old. Even so, I know it's me. There's a huge coffee stain on the shirt. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. And now, what we gotta go to next? Oh, yes. Up next is legacy poet herself, Miss Julianne Powers. Guest appearances by Nico the Pug.
This is about my friend's dog. Machias's deep eyes won my heart yesterday. His light like sunshine after a stormy week. Soft, long white coat like Pyrenees. Bites hands just a little. Ghost of a wolf. Thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. Let's see who we have next up on our list. Let's bring up Miss Nancy Dotson, our one phone participant, calling us all the way from from parts unknown, say. And Nancy, all you gotta do is press star zip. You're on. Nancy Dotson, everyone.
Unfortunate duel. A fierce soldier in anger wants to fight a duel. I might kill him, so I better duck. The sword touches my heart. I am mortal, and the morals of the heathen I know not. I lay down in darkness, and yes, in death's shadow. I fear the melody of the Lord upon me, for I die. Bless me, Lord, for I did not kill. My avenger killed me. So be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for participating in round one. For those who are watching this video the next day on Thursday, I'll just let you know, if you're wondering where Carol is, Carol had to call in sick. Hopefully we'll get a couple more people in tonight, but Carol Weston should be with us next week, and she promises to try and coordinate the return of another poet who used to come to Stone Soup a lot. I guess she was in contact with said poet, and the poet was interested in doing something with us. So I'll give more information when I know more. Up next, let us welcome, let's see. Oh yes, round under 5,000 is chosen. Miss Jan Rowe.
Hi, I wrote this yesterday morning after watching Democracy Now! On the way to writing group. And I read it at their open mic yesterday afternoon at the Cathedral of St. Paul on Tremont by Brewer's Fountain. It's called Century Anniversary, Hundreds Lynched in Elaine, Arkansas. About a century ago, when Richard Wright, author of Native Son and Black Boy, was a child of about 7, his uncle Silas Hoskins was lynched. Richard's mother, Silas's sister, slapped Richard into silence when he asked why people didn't rise up. Why did this happen? This murder of hundreds of Black sharecroppers in Elaine, Arkansas, a century ago. Cotton was bringing in more money. However, the Black sharecroppers were still always owing money to the landowners. The Black sharecroppers decided to unionize. They formed a cooperative. This decision enraged the landowners, turning them into a murderous mob, killing over 100 people. And no one was charged with murder. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Oh, nice pooch. And let's see, and up next, we're going to bring up Mr. Bill Lewis. Featuring Bill Lewis, special guest star Bill Lewis, and also key grip Bill Lewis. Take it away, sir.
Thank you so much, dear Sir Chadford, sir. It is always a pleasure to be here. Oh my goodness gracious, I do not understand life. I don't understand blah. I'm horrible to myself. I don't know if you people are as horrible to yourself as I am, but oh, I can get down on myself for, I have plenty of flaws to get down on and things that I've done that I'm not proud of. So it's plenty of fodder to feel bad about. But I think it's really that I have too damn much time on my hands. And if I were busy doing something, I wouldn't be thinking about all the places I went wrong in life. Oh, well, such is. Does everybody do something like this? Does everybody else occasionally say, God, I'm a horrible person. I deserve to die. God should strike me down now. I mean, I'm not the only one, I hope. I'll go with that. I have sinned against man and nature. I have no claim to righteousness or pride. I have spurned the pleas of those who laying on the streets have died. I curse myself for failure. I curse my lust and fear. I castigate myself for driving off those I held so dear. What kind of monster am I? To abandon those I loved? To stand and see them walk away when I could have. I didn't. And they're gone.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. And up next, we have one of our newest contributors to the open mic. She joined a couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's good to have her back, Miss Annette Tarpley.
Hello to all. Very nice to be here. Thank you for having me back. Hold on just a second. My dog is visiting. This is my dog, Sadie, who I gave away to the people next door because I was gone all the time, but she comes and visits me. So I'm having a little bit of Sadie time tonight. But this is called A Love That Is Lost. No words of love will befall your lips. No words of adoration will I hear. No kiss upon my forehead. No strong arms will hold and draw me near. As I lie in quiet thinking about times together that passed us by, a single tear trails down my face, followed by guttural sobs and cries. My heart is shattered and broken. If given voice and allowed to speak, it would profess my undying love, a love you reject and no longer seek. Alienated from your touch, caresses a dried and distant vague memory. Separated by surmounting resentment, hearts no longer in synchrony. Do you hear my whispers at night? From my lips now venom spews. Can you not see my downcast glance? Are you not oblivious to blatant cues? There will be no reunion of hearts, dried up. The vessel is now dead. No correspondence of words, deeds lacking meaning to that which said. I cry out to the heavens, why did you not mend the hearts that cry? The answer known intuitively, you cannot revive that which died. Farewell to you, go on your way, reflect upon what dying love has cost. Then again, you're incapable to realize the value of what you've lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette, and welcome back.
Thank you.
Up next, we have two new additions. We'll get them on very, 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 very soon. But first, we're going to go now to a newly published author. And next in line, according to the Ramnator 5000, Mr. John Wesick.
Hi, Chad. So I have a poem that's, kind of celebrating yesterday's Nobel Prize in Physics. And it's actually a really big deal what these guys did. They kind of confirmed sort of the spooky action at a distance from quantum entanglement, which just really means that they kind of showed that reality is really, really strange. And I don't know, I'll put up a videotape that talks a little bit about this stuff. There's some stuff called Bell's inequalities that they verified, and there's something called the Stern-Gerlach experiment, which is like a magnetic field that tells you which way an electron spin points. And that's what you need, I guess, to understand this poem. The jeweled net of John Stuart Bell. The mystic physicist dreams a net extending to infinity. At each vertex, a Stern-Gerlach device mounted on gimbals so it can rotate freely. In his mind, the device resembles a textbook drawing of magnets with chisel-shaped iron poles that separate moving electrons according to spin. Poets scoff. His metaphor lacks the romance of Indra's net with jewels that reflect all the others at each vertex. But how can light with its finite speed maintain the oneness of everything in a universe billions of light years across? Perhaps far removed from ordinary senses, derived from slippery abstract logic, and detected in statistics of complex measurements, spooky quantum entanglement allows instantaneous communion with your toenail, the great wall of galactic superclusters and beyond. Useless, but a connection nonetheless, entangled in the primordial wave function of the Big Bang, a dragonfly, sky, rust-colored rock on Mars, atom in interstellar space, stars, nebula, countless creatures on planets orbiting alien suns, all are brothers and sisters in a oneness that communicates nothing. And there you have it. Like I said,
Bravo!
yes, let's hear it for Alan Aspect.
Yay, physics. Very good. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Any links would be appreciated. So I can go over the poem again when I listen to it to this whole thing tomorrow. Up next, we got two newcomers to the open mic. And the Remnant Eater 5000 is very upset that he didn't get to sort their names in a hat in the beginning of the hour. So we're just gonna have them go one after the other right now. So there. Let's welcome up first, returning after a little bit of a hiatus. Let's welcome up Julie Murray Hoey.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a previous commitment for about 3 months, so I'm very happy to be back. I missed you all. This is called Cleanse. Those tears I shed were clear, streams running down the mountainside, tumbling over clay and stone, through woods, drifting over grasses in the morning mist, curving, careening, caressing, catching sunlight, refracting rubies, sapphires, ambers, and opals. Water carrying copper, crystals, clay, and quartz, strong and supple, serenading sunshine and solace. Kissing Mother Earth as she settles into another sleepy morning, working through dells and vales, past farms, springing into and under ravines, reaching for a river that joins another and another, miraculously, masterfully, and mightily, announcing intention broadly to towns thoughtful through cities stark, filling swamps, bays, and quarries, arriving at the Atlantic in March, daring, deliberate, and deep, mingling with the Pacific in August, inviting all to swim her waters, float buoyantly in the salt, to wade through worry, whisper wonder and worship at the ocean, any of the 7 seas, toes bury themselves in silt and guide children building castles in the sand. And past the crashing waves, surfers ride her undulations, families and friends foster, ferment, forge, forgive. Via shoreline walks and winks, sunbathing, precocious poses, a frisbee toss, knowing glances and conversations through sunglasses, building relationships that reverberate, reveal, and rejuvenate, in waters that cleanse the soul, in waters that mend all that's hurting, holding each other, heralding each other, healing each other. That was inspired by my grandmother. She always said, "What did the ocean heal?" Everything. So that's where that came from. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And up next is our former Stone Soup videographer, a man of 1,000 projects, one of them near completion. Last we checked, hopefully maybe 2 more since we last talked. Let's welcome up Mr. CCR Chagra.
Okay, I am the recent recipient of a book by this guy named John. I wish he was here tonight, but he's busy collecting his physics award. Thank you, John. That's I got through the first. All I got to say about that book so far, and I just touched it, is rubber testicles. The rest is up to you. I got nothing else to say. Sorry, that was a warning. Oh, and he disappears. It's funny. They're funny. He's brilliant. When Jack was still around, the biodevastation rally happened, and it was the biggest protest in Boston between the battle in Seattle and the IMF World Bank. And I met quite a few people. It was an amazing weekend, 3.5 days of teaching, plus a big thing on the park. And at the very last minute, through a series of events and strange connections, I was asked to step on stage and open it. It was 2,500 people, and I sang an a cappella poem called Love Aloud. And I haven't done this in a while, but for some reason it's on the top of a pile. So it kind of won by default. So forgive me, people tell me I could sing, but my mother was a singer, so I know what the difference is, but I will try this. Bush was president at the time, which didn't make me very happy. Let them be, allow love, let them be, allow love, let them be, allow love, love aloud. The sun of fear faces the last night of mirrors, and there's nothing to hold on to yourself for the day with. To attempt not to let the heart of love die, to make love in the street and are shot. Love runs for dear life, but cannot escape. Peace on earth is called weak, and a mute dies to speak. To attempt not to let the heart of love die, to make love in the street and are shot. Kissing is feared, the debate's on at 10. No one leaves home after 8 if you have one. To attempt not to let the heart of love die, to make love in the street and are shot. Television declares a new enemy is here and readies the public for war games now real. To attempt not to let the heart of love die, to make love in the street. They declare when they're caught, they represent the two sides of the so-called soon-to-be war. But we don't want to fight, there's no war, it's all hype, and we don't want to live life in fear, it's too short. Hear them cry out for love, hear them cry out no war, hear they cry out for peace, and they're shot. The sun of fear faces the last night of love, and there's nothing to hold on to yourself or the day with. The public's now sold the news us versus them, supporting the plans to drop bombs on their head. The public now fears to speak out and shout, we could have stopped war at the start. So the day before children lay dead in the street, students and artists with workers march out with signs bearing names of the lovers who died, making love in the street, representing all sides. Joining hands against weapons with voices they chant, let them be, allow love, let them be, allow love, let them be, allow love, love aloud. And that was originally sung at Club Passim. There's actually an audio recording, and iTunes was new, so it was uploaded to iTunes, and then I lost the password, so I haven't been to iTunes since like 90 or whatever year this was. So yeah, and they sang in the beginning. There was like about 1,000 people already in the audience, and so they actually sang. And all the television stations back then reported on Friday night that there's going to be violence in the streets. Stay away from Boston. They're going to smash windows because of Seattle. And everyone and all the stations knew, all the major, including CSNBC and PBS, they all knew that it was 2.5 days in teach-ins. They had guest speakers from around the world, oil. So I went to a teach-in on nanotechnology. Like in the year 2001, 20 years ago. You want to hear a bunch of people say, oh my God, within an hour. So I knew about nanotechnology, and that's how I got involved in that whole subject matter back then. And Jack was there. He was out, he was in the audience, and it was a fluke that I ended up on stage because the first speaker didn't want to go. And I was friends with a guy who was friends with the guy who set up the stage, who ended up sending me down to New York for the biodevastation, and I lived at the guy's house, and I helped build the stage and for the IMF World Bank thing, which was also an amazing event. So that's love aloud. And Stone Soup matters.
Thanks, CC. I was actually at the biodevastation protests on the Saturday. I was coming in from Brookline, and I ran into Vermin Supreme, who came onto the green line to get to Copley. He was wearing a devil's mask, and he kept on asking the preppies on there, "Hi, I'm Satan. I just came in from Seattle. I'd love to know where the riots are."
I met Vandana Shiva, Ralph Nader, Jane and Acree, Jane Wilson and Steve Acree, or vice versa. Their last names. There were a couple. They fought the government and they won. They were the ones that outed the GBH down in. They were a famous couple, Fox News local in Florida, and
Yeah.
they did the thing, and they actually beat the government against Clinton's lawyers. They cost them their lives, but yeah, it was really amazing. It's really amazing. And what was the name of that place? Spontaneous Celebrations.
Yeah.
Pelletier.
Hmm.
He was the one that asked me to step out, and other people got involved, and that's how it all happened. But yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. It changed my life that weekend. But Vandana Shiva, I ran up to her and gave her a big hug and called her mama.
And then she said, "Who, sir?" But thank you, CC. And we're going to
Speaking
now
of
to,
physics,
what's that? Oh, I didn't hear you. But anyway, and our closer for the first round of the round robin is Mr. James Van Looy. Check out his column at oddballmagazine.com. Check out oddballmagazine.com. Got some good work up there in the last few days. More good work coming. There's a call for submissions for Halloween poetry and or short stories and or artwork and photography. Anything with a horror theme to it. Check out the guidelines at oddballmagazine.com because we're trying a new approach to horror. Zombie apocalypses aren't that scary anymore now that you have people willingly giving themselves the coronavirus. So it's things have changed. The metaphors don't work, and zombies were a little bit problematic anyway. So new ideas of what you find to be horrific. Submit your work. Good luck. And of course, we'll take a good zombie poem regardless. But check out James Van Looy's poem column. It's all one thing, featured every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock without fail. Take it away, James.
Thanks, Chad. So I've got a poem here called Word Hordes, or Why Markets Don't Work Anymore If They Ever Did. The last time we went through total change, even approaching the level we're now enduring, was centuries ago. And what has now transpired in decades took centuries of forgetful generations to destroy the old system of information manuscripts, once sacred, becoming secular, holy libraries of books, as now libraries become this sprawling internet of things and books, mere thin wafers of readout in cloud of unknowing. Where there will be and now is a new economy, entirely something else different than set linear type of individual module, become this relentless bottom line, and the assembly line itself already been transformed now. Container ship arrival just on time, national state gone, global network of total interpenetrating connection, inextricably, all little bits organized in this huge, overwhelming, wholly whole, all the competing succession of empire imploded in supernova of relationship in one world, all one thing, just for now, together. Ah, the great now, an almost instantaneous multicultural miracle, ready or not. And I have a song to go with that, I think. Put another nickel in the Nickelodeon. All I want is having you and music, music, music. I'd do anything for you, anything you'd want me to. All I want is holding you and music, music, music. Closer, my dear, come closer. The nicest part of any melody is when you're dancing close to me. So put another nickel in the Nickelodeon. All I want is loving you and music, music, music. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, James. Whoops. We're gonna head back to start. Pass go, collect 200 bucks. Or because this is poetry, a big bag of air. And we are going to, or cryptocurrency. I'll sell you an NFT. I just got to screen capture it and then I'll put it in proper proportions and send it on over to you. We are heading back to start, and it looks like we missed our number one person. I don't know where he went off to, but it looks like we'll have to skip Mr. Fitzgerald and go right to to Magister Ed Galt. Ed, are you ready? Oh, wait 1 second.
Yes, I am.
1 second. Looks like Chris came back somehow.
Okay.
Chris exists inside and outside the Zoom call. He's like he's like he surfs the net. I didn't invite him back in, but I didn't kick him out. He just comes and goes as he pleases. It's very weird. Chris Fitzgerald, are you there? Oh boy. Chris, are you there? Okay. Oh, Chris, if you're there, it's your turn to start.
I'm here. I'm here.
Awesome.
I just got one little short one. It's called Wit Spine Charm. I tried rowing, sewing, an occasional crossword, but until I put my hands on your ass while slow dancing in the living room of your apartment on Sawyer Ave, I had no idea how important my hands were to my pursuit of happiness during my stay on the planet Earth. You recall the next day, I gave up engaging in pickup games of playground basketball. I couldn't take a chance of hurting my hands. I mean, I wouldn't have missed sewing, rowing, and the occasional crossword, but all the rest, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. And now we're going to bring you to back to, I should say, Mr. Magister Galt.
Thank you. This is a poem called Promise to Myself. It's a collection of anti-suicide poems I've written, and called Promise to Myself. I promised myself I would never take it again. That is why one day I threw a rope over the rafter and tied it up in a noose, put it around my neck, and then I jumped off the stool and into the abyss, where a voice called down, "Why did you cheat yourself of all I have given you?" And I heard that voice over and over again and again for centuries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Magister Galt. And up next, legacy poet Jillian Powers. Guest appearance by Pug forthcoming.
This is a poem by Paul Laurence Dunbar, an African-American poet from the late 1800s. It's called We Wear the Mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Thank you.
Thank you, Jillian. Up next, yes, our phone participant for tonight. Again, Carol, for those who came in late, Carol Weston had to check out this week, had to sit this one out. She'll be back next week. For now, we're going to welcome up our only phone participant for this week, Miss Nancy Dotson. Just press *6 and you're on, Nancy. Uh-oh, connection problems abound today. Nancy, are you there? Okay, looks like we'll have to skip Nancy for the moment. And Jan, are you ready to read something else right now? Okay, excellent. Just unmute yourself and you're good to go.
Cool.
Okay. This is called Stormy Weather with Gratitude to the Song. After Hurricane Ian ravaged Florida, imagine islands in the area swamped by the ocean, overrun by water as though the island's not there. Over 100 dead, mostly drowned. My friend spoke of a memorial service for a friend whose widow could not attend as Ian canceled flights from Florida. She had hotel reservations anyway, as her house mandated evacuation since skirting uncovered cinder blocks deemed unreliable. Migrant workers exist in crowded, substantial, barely a roof housing at risk. Before a couple decades, it's all coming back to me. Habitat for Humanity homes survived Hurricane Andrew. Scooby says. Volunteer build houses. They outsurvived the other ones. Habitat houses. Yep. Deregulation managed to weaken, to cheapen building standards instead of building to withstand harsh weather. Due to developers and desires, greed doomed the mangroves and allowed the barrier islands to be built on to fight the inevitable. The condo collections, they stick out jetties to try and keep the sand. But ultimately, thank you.
Very interesting.
I'm not sure. Whoa. Whoever that is that just joined us by phone, can you turn off the speaker function?
I think they turned it off.
Okay, you can unmute yourself. You can do that. I don't know if this is Nancy coming up again. Nancy, can you unmute? Whoever just joined us, can you unmute by pressing *6? I'm not sure what to do here. Okay. Something
I think
going
there are
on
two.
here.
I think there are two Nancys, and you're
There's
getting
two of
feedback
them.
between them.
Okay. So I'm removing one and, okay, Nancy, try unmuting one last time. If not, we might have to let you go because there's some kind of weird feedback going on. I think I may have fixed it.
Cool and chilly. It's cool, chilly wind and weather. The dogs come in right away. It's not my turn to go out. First it will kill the plants. House plants are bedded ones. Fear of a kill makes me bring them in tonight. Frost killer what? Will they survive? I doubt it. Thank you.
And quite the comeback. Thank you, Nancy. Now, coming up next, Mr. Bill Lewis, Mr. Bill himself. Oh no.
Occurs to me that we should do something for Halloween, what with, pumpkins. Oh, my pumpkins, right, pumpkins, what am I thinking? Just a moment, I was working for my students, I gave them a test today, a pumpkin test. So let's see, how can I do this? If I turn that way, that didn't work. Wait, why can you see me? Oh, I see, let's, oh, I'm so confused. Chad, which way is up? It's very confusing. Anyway, we had observed to my students, I'm teaching computer science there, and that, there we go. If this is trick or treat, then what is this? This is trick and treat. Whereas this one over here is trick exclusive or treat. And we just went through those and it was so much fun. Oh, I am so lucky to have students. Life is beautiful when you have kids around, as long as you don't have to live with them or anything. But other than that, teaching school is the best thing in the whole world. My second poem today shall not be of my own creation, but rather of a fairly well-known, I guess, modern 21st century poet, well published. So I just felt like going with it. One of the books that I recently received is poetry. The Pope admitted, "We made the whole thing up." On his visit to the Vatican, the Dalai Lama said the same about Buddha. "We sure got a kick out of that one." The same day, my wife confessed, "Although I find sex with you repulsive, it sure beats working full time." It must have been something in water. Doctors ridiculed their patients' vaginal itching. The president called the American public a bunch of whiny, self-indulgent morons. Later, I waited at the curb for a gap, the torrent of speeding, distracted metal, when a woman I didn't even know brought her green Land Rover to a halt for me to cross. I found a brown paper bag of my neighbor's, heirloom tomatoes on my doorstep. It was a good day.
Good day indeed. Thank you, Bill. Who do we have next? Oh, yes, our newest member of our August body, Miss Annette Tarpley. Take it away. Dog optional.
Sorry, I was about ready to go through a coughing spell, so I put something in my mouth and trying to spit out. So, for those who may not know, I have a website, Facebook site called The Passion of Poetry, which you all are certainly welcome to join. But I've started a thing this last week where it's called Pop Chat, Passion Poetry, we call it Pop for short. And Pop Chats, where I've been interviewing people, a lot of my admin at first, but one of the people I interviewed tonight is Alan Johnson. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Alan, but Alan, if you look up my name on YouTube, you'll see all sorts of his creations. I give him my poetry, and he's a musician, so he actually composes the music, plays the music, recites the poetry, and also comprises the videos. And this is the video he recently did for me. It's called Menagerie of Broken Dreams. In the twilight of her mind, her thoughts randomly played, reels of bygone years disseminating into fractured memories, pieces of broken glass arranged in a calculated array of art, a mosaic fragmented yet cohesively dispersed into a pastoral scene. With clarity, now recalling the meadow that haunted her conscience, in a land beyond the reach of dreams, hidden beyond a cobwebbed cloak. For it was the meadow that taught her a kiss was more than conjoining lips. It was a symphony of emotions orchestrated into a crescendo of dance, a waltz of warm, moist merriment, embodied in an entangled duet. Eyelids slowly closed, the shades to the orbs of intoxicating blue, now hidden. In the twilight of her mind, a Renaissance masquerade. Her broken dreams, now a kaleidoscope of menageries. As an isolated tear cascades down her alabaster white cheek. Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. Why don't you send a link to your, I can always look up your, look it up on YouTube, but if you have a link to your, if you have a ready available link to your YouTube, send it, put it in the chat.
Okay, I will do that.
Please do. And up next, our big hotshot published on a book available on Amazon author, John Wesick, is up next.
Wow, I get to be a hot shot now. Well, I guess I might as well enjoy it for the 30 seconds that it lasts.
That long?
Yeah, probably not. I'll get a big bag of air out of it, I'm sure. The following poem contains the phrase rubber testicles. If the phrase rubber testicles upsets you, or you simply don't want to hear the phrase rubber testicles, please don't listen to this poem. On the plus side, this poem does not contain the terms meat curtain, concrete vulva, tungsten carbide dildo, titanium frenulum, or plutonium clitoris. If the terms meat curtain, concrete vulva, tungsten carbide dildo, titanium frenulum, or plutonium clitoris offend you, or you simply don't want to hear the terms meat curtain, concrete vulva, tungsten carbide dildo, titanium frenulum, or plutonium clitoris, rest assured they do not appear in the following poem. The following poem likewise does not include the phrases pearl necklace, tea-bagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin. If the phrases pearl necklace, tea-bagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin offend or upset you, or if you simply don't want to hear the phrases pearl necklace, tea-bagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin, you're in luck because the phrases pearl necklace, tea-bagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin do not appear in the following poem. In conclusion, the terms meat curtain, concrete vulva, tungsten carbide dildo, titanium frenulum, plutonium clitoris, pearl necklace, teabagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin do not appear in the following poem, so rest assured you can enjoy this poem without having to hear the terms meat curtain, concrete vulva, tungsten carbide dildo, titanium frenulum, plutonium clitoris, pearl necklace, teabagging, rusty trombone, munching the carpet, choking the gopher, spanking the monkey, or slurping the gherkin. However, the term rubber testicles does appear in the following poem. If the term rubber testicles upsets you or you don't want to hear the term rubber testicles, do not listen to the following poem, because the last thing I want to do is expose you to the term rubber testicles if you don't want to hear it. And now the poem. At the second coming, parking was atrocious. After an hour behind a pickup truck with rubber testicles swinging from its bumper, the only opening I found were gaps next to the BMW, taking up 2 spaces. The ticket line, a straitjacket of sweating bodies, not only Christians but Buddhists and Hindus too, all shouting into cell phones, coughing on the back of my neck or drowning my sinuses in secondhand smoke. Security guards in blue latex gloves everywhere, probing attendees with electric wands and confiscating liquids. Inside, I bought a bottle of water for $10 and climbed to my seat behind Sherpas who gasped for breath, while jumbotrons displayed oil rigs and smiling PR hacks. I sat down, felt a thump, thump, thump of tiny shoes. Please tell your child to stop kicking my chair. The father in a short-brimmed hat rolled his eyes. Peace, eternal life, universal justice. I didn't stick around. There's nothing a crowd can't ruin. Thanks, everybody, and I will post a link to my book in the chat.
Hooray. Thank you, John. And going to our late stragglers again, as we approach the end. Let's go to Julie Mary Hoey. Whoops, you're not muted.
I knew I was going to have to follow that. I want to write a funny poem, but I've yet to do that. So here is my poem, October. Night expands gradually and then appears as if immediately to subdue, to conquer the day. Scant sunlight remains at the solstice of winter. Its hours cropped, chopped, close to insubstantial. Still we welcome the bite of, the chill in the air, utterly aware of the tale it will tell shortly. We welcome it with fire and quilts, hats and gloves fashioned of worsted wool, until the cycle begins again, with the fresh rains, the prevalent light of spring. It is precisely for these cycles, that we welcome the bite of, the chill in the air. I am a New Englander and I lived in San Diego for a long time, and man, I miss the season. So that is what that is about. Thank you.
I miss the seasons too, and I've lived here all my life. It's like we don't have them anymore with the climate changes. It's like kind of winter, winter, already summer, and then summer. You know, it's very weird these days. Anyway, thank you so much, and let's go now to Mr. C.C. Shagra.
Okay, so the good news on the book is it is moving forward, and I don't have the first physical press thing, but it's on its way, and thank you for mentioning it early on. I hung my second visual art show yesterday in my life at the Buttonwood Tree, and there's a video on Facebook. I'll put a few links in here. And but I haven't published in 20 years, and so I have upward of a dozen to 24 manuscript projects that are finally going to start rolling out after this 20-year anniversary of the open microphone poems, which is being released with 3 essays, and it's being listed as social science and poetry and as an ISBN work. And so here is one of the many manuscript projects called The Science of Fiction, and salute to the awakening that quantum physics is on the rise, and Newtonian physics is basically has to step aside or we're all going to be enslaved and turned into sheep. Did I say that out loud? I'm only kidding. No, I'm not. So this is called the science of fiction. It's you're not going to believe what this looks like. Okay. The reality slavers are real as the reality slaver complex, as long as fear ever arrives. And silence is the great mutation, a belief plague spreading to eradicate free thinking, alive as long as questions are not. Dogma in a petri dish, culture under innocent microscopes, macro and micro intimacy forbidden, slavery patent pending. Here, a need to know systems of truth lie. Survival over love, consumers on their knees, praying to become better predators, worshiping whoever controls the 0, the 1, and the decimal point. So what? Suddenly, the truth was over. Then a war that never started began. 1 million now lay dead for real. Now what lies? But lo, there are waves beneath your soul. Rote learning is for the programmed. You were fine till life said otherwise. Then I befriended the death time made into my reality of pain. I'll read that line again. You have no idea what I'm looking at. And then I befriended the death time made into my reality of pain. This is when I fell to my grandfather's soul song. Now there is no fault, no blame, no vengeance, no enemies. Nothing is real. Everything is here now. Time is just waves beneath your soul, always surfing. Did you hear the nothing, John? Thank you. And I have a dog that needs to pee and poo, so I will stay as long as possible. And then love you all and see you soon. And I'll put stuff in the chat before I have to go. But thank you all.
Thanks,
And I don't
CC.
mean to, I'm not a read and run, but I do have to go.
No problem.
And James and Jan keep writing. I'm so happy that Jan has followed in James's spirit and has decided to not be political, but only write about trees and butterflies.
Nice. So what do I have here? Aha. I got a request to read something. I don't often, but I will this time. One of my Stone Soup Crouton poems. Whoops, here we go. This one was a quick one from the week of September 21st. I'm glad in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to take more time doing these, maybe even get them finished before Friday morning. Nah. Anyway, this one is called, let me see. Yes, this was from the September 21st open mic called A Collection of Modern Fantasies. Land reclaimed as candy houses are rejected by the malnourished. An 80s Red Sox championship, a duet amicably ends debate over an escalating snowstorm. Two fish losing a river to find salvation in monastery aquarium. Showing up naked in class to applause. A blues tune that pays for a one-bedroom apartment. Person's blood sprouting plants to strangle whoever hurt them. A daydream that covers cost for a city parking spot. Blank pages that help you do one-handed push-ups. Train you to win lifelong argument with yourself. A horizon full of spacecraft who need the static electricity in your dragging feet. A Kenny G playlist that gives you street cred. Falling tree that says, excuse me, before moving to miss your car. Subway ride taking you past sidewalk into apartment door, one step away from your bed. God, at the rate I'm going, these Stone Soup Crouton poems, I'll have the complete. I will have the complete Stone Soup Crouton poems done by like 2085. Who knows? But I got a lot of these to collect. Anyway, we are moving on now to the final poet of the night. And that would be Sir James Van Looy. Again, check out his column, It's All One Thing, every Thursday at 11 o'clock, without fail. More bonus things will be at Oddball Magazine tomorrow, including, I believe, a theater review, and possibly bringing back, hopefully, if not this week, then the next, we want to bring back our special video/movie segment, and that will be headed up by Jason Wright doing that. But anyway, on to right now. Let's welcome up James.
Thanks, Chad. So I have a poem here called Once Art Was Being. Once Art Was Being. From sunset epiphany in daily discursive thought, stream of banal consciousness floating on this subconscious sea, great depths beneath the slow shifting tectonic plates moving on the interior deep molten currents, generating electromagnetic core in whose spiraling field our lives are protected, if only because, just because, we in stillness remain so alert, so aware, in paradise where roses grew, with heaven beating in our earthly hearts. Sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely night dreaming of a song, the melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you when our love was new, and each kiss and inspiration, but that was long ago. Now my consolation is in the stardust of a song beside a garden wall. When stars are bright, you are in my arms. The nightingale tells that fairy tale of paradise where roses grew. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain. My stardust melody, the memory of love's refrain. Thank you.
Thank you, James, and thanks to everyone who came out tonight for Stone Soup. Hoping for more announcements as we progress to the end of October, as we have our first live, our one live show in October, and hopefully in the next few weeks we'll be able to finalize the second day of the month where we'll meet at the gallery for a second live show and go from there. The second live show will likely be an all open mic, so you're encouraged to spread the word, bring people, because they want as many people to come to this. I guess we did have some new faces over at Stone Soup last month. I wasn't there for it, but when we did come by, we had Ann O'Neill, I'm sorry, Miriam, and have you in the bleachers. I'm taking a second to make sure. Oh, here we go. I don't know if
Chad, for a moment, you were in one of those cyborg chambers there where they freeze you.
yeah, I think my screen's actually frozen, but I am for some reason still able to talk to you. So it's kind of a little on the weird side right now. So hopefully,
Digital Kirarin.
Spooky
Yeah.
action at a distance.
those are always the things that
Here's
Okay, you
okay.
can talk to us now. There he is.
I am here again. Okay, good. I'm taking a second to make sure everything else is all set. Ay, ay, ay. And I really don't want to just X out of here because that could be a huge problem for the video. So give me 1 second. Am I still frozen, or am I gotta dance, gotta sing? Am I animated? I have no idea.
No,
Your
we
video
cannot
is still
see you
frozen.
move, but we love you anyway. We will go with it. We will do our best to animate you in our brains.
There you go. All right, so I think this will solve the problem and free up some on my computer. Perfect.
Maybe if you brought the gray screen back.
Somehow I don't think so. I think just everything else is running on my computer. So
Okay, weird stuff is happening. I think we should just call it a night.
Yeah, my video freezes sometimes too.
okay, well, I hope you'll indulge me in the wave, or at least will look like you're waving, just so I can have a screen capture for later. Oh dear Lord. All right. Well, thank you guys for Jesus God. So thank you guys very much for coming out tonight. Be there if you can for October 12th for Carla Schwartz's poetry reading, and stay tuned for announcement of the next online feature. Thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you very soon.